G'day guys, Sean Finn here. Look, I'm going to talk to you today about how to rig the Pro Lure XL Shad in the 150. I just bought a 200 today, so I'm pretty keen to throw that one now that I know that these things work. They catch fish, so yeah, looking to jump it over into the 200. So here are 4 ways you can rig the 150. So the first one is a pretty simple. It's just a jig head. So that's your 150 there. That's your 150. That's a 1 ounce. So the reason I've got a 1 ounce there in the 6.0, so all of these 6-inch baits, 6.0 hook for me. The 1 ounce you're able to throw on a sort of snapper rod because 1 ounce is 28 grams. Your common 5 to 10 kilo line rated snapper rod, I use a 7 foot. On a 4,000 20-pound line, you can whip these out a fair way. So if you're fishing rock walls, if you're fishing off the beach even, with some gutters sort of close-ish in, this is a great bait. 1 ounce is a good enough head. I know it looks a little bit clunky because the head is so big, and I definitely wouldn't go to a 1.5 for this one, let alone a 2. But yeah, look, that will get you onto a few fish there. All right, so the second way that I don't mind rigging them, and sorry Pro Lure, but I'm chopping the heads off some of your baits here, your complete fish profiles. But there's that TT Big Eyes again. They look real sharp. That's why I do like to use them. The TT Big Eyes again, you shine a light on her, you can throw it off, break walls at night, and it's just going to help that jewfish hunting around in the darkness on the top or bottom of the tide be able to see that lure a whole lot more. Again, 4.0, chopping the front of that fish head off the XL Shad just to fit this really well, and it does really fit well with this. You get a lot of tail vibration as well. You can feel it through the rod. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. That's a good one. Now recently what I've been doing is sort of trying to rig these things weedless. There is a caveat. So the one caveat to this is you need to put a weight up front. I've found, and maybe it's the way I'm rigging it, and actually I bumped into Patrick from Castaway Charters, and if you want to know how to rig big baits, mate, he's the guy. He's written a few articles for Shimano there now, and yeah, one of them is a fantastic article on rigging. So I'll provide a link in the description for that article, because that's where I started to think about how to rig more innovatively for big baits for flathead. I'm sure the Barra and the cod guys have been doing it for a little while too, but for me, for flathead, yeah, it's sort of a new concept, and I've learnt a lot from Patrick. So first of all, we've got that underside hook linked with a split ring there, and again, big shout out to Patrick. That will catch the bottom jaw of the flathead there. The tissue, the skin there is more easily penetrable by hook, and that's the reason for this underside hook there. You'll definitely get them on top. I feel as though flathead do like to attack the lure from the head. So even though the hook point realistically, in terms of total proportion of bait, is very far up the front end, I still think that's a great hook set option. And the last one I've got here is me trying out some rigging. So again, these are all 4.0s. This is a Daiwa, I forget what they call their jig heads, but the Daiwa jig head there, it's a 1/4 ounce. Now that 1/4 ounce on the 6.0, it runs really well over shallow water. Like you can run this over a metre, less than a metre of water quite easily. And that tail, the body roll is just, it's not too much, but it's a fantastic bait. You got to really hand it to the guys at Pro Lure. They did the work and they got the results. This is excellent. And this is pretty much, aside from, I didn't have stingers on the bottom, but I caught my 77 the other day, slow rolling this over a nice sort of patchy weed near oyster lease, sort of shallow sandy area. So what I've done in terms of how to rig that bottom stinger is, all you need is, I've got some 50 pound here, the braid. Yeah, the next level is certainly crimping wire. I'm not there at the moment, but I'm trying to find some innovative solutions to figure out how I can use braid and not have to deal with the abrasion factor. So the way I've done that is I've actually tied onto the bend of the hook. I've tied a simple blood knot with I'm guessing probably 30 centimeters, just to give me enough, 30 centimeter piece of 50 pound there, tied it onto the bend of the hook, threaded the bait needle, and I've just threaded it straight down. And as you can see, I'll pop open that little belly cavity. Let's have a look, see if you can see that there. So in there, pops out, and what I've done is I've just I've held the hook, the eye of the hook, as close as I can to the point where it comes out of the belly of the plastic, and I've done my 7 wraps and completed the blood knot. When you tighten that blood knot down, you're going to get a bit of extra line coming out, so you've got a bit more length than you always anticipate for after you tie the knot. So which is why I try to tie it really close to the exit point. And I've been able to I just tie on a split ring. You don't have to tie on a split ring. I've just been doing it to see if I can, if I'd like to run a single perhaps, then I can change it out. But I think in the future, perhaps I'll just run a straight hook instead of the split ring. But yeah, always got to try something new. This treble, I just sink the top treble, sink that top treble into the bait up the top there. You can just see that, and then you've got those 2 little trebles, which are, you can hook the underside of that flat edge oar. Yeah, and that's the way I like to run the Pro lure. It's yeah, fantastic bait, love it. It's, I mean, for the price, it's pretty cheap. Like, it's good. It's a good, great completed fish pattern. That's just the dog. All right, thanks for watching, and yeah, any questions, hit me up down below. Always happy to reach out and see what other guys and girls are doing with their baits and how they're innovating with their fishing. I think it's super important. I think that Australia could learn a lot from the strategies that other countries pursue, and obviously there's always a bit of change given the species profiles, but yeah, look, really keen to learn as much as I can, and yeah, reach out to me, and let's have a conversation about what you do that's different. All right, thanks very much. Keep fishing. Cheers.